Today I'll be going over how Anne Frank can build empathy in the classroom for a future generation. I do have a sensitive content warning. This will have the images of the Holocaust, traumas of war, and impacts on individuals and families, the struggles of growing up in isolation and discrimination, anti-Semitism, and consequences of prejudice overall. Introduction. Anne Frank's diary provides a personal lens into the Holocaust, teaching empathy and emotional intelligence. Her reflection on fear, hope, and resilience connects students to human struggles in history. My thesis statement is A Diary of a Young Girl by Anne Frank is a very effective educational tool for fostering empathy, emotional growth, and social awareness in students. By exploring Anne's story, educators can help students connect personally with historical experiences, teaching them to understand and relate to emotions across time and all cultures. While this topic, I think Anne is a very young girl and is a very relatable voice to humanize history and to bridge the gaps between historical events and emotions. Themes like discrimination and resilience can resonate with modern day challenges like bullying and prejudice. Who was Anne Frank? Anne Frank was a Jewish teenager living in the hiding of the Holocaust in an attic between the ages of 13 and 15. And she documented her thoughts, fears, and hopes while facing constant danger of being found by Nazis. My topic sections will be emotional intelligence and social emotional learning, SEL, digital learning tools, art-based strategies, and personal narratives and journaling. First, SEL. Anne's reflections can help students explore their emotions and build empathy. Her story offers a framework for understanding and connecting emotionally with others. And the quote I use is literature allows students to step into the lives of others, fostering empathy and emotional growth, so they can understand what Anne really went through and step into her shoes. Digital learning tools. Like Padlets and Flipgrids enable students to interactively reflect on Anne's diary and discuss themes with peers. It's always better to engage and look. You don't always want to read. It gets really boring to just read text and text and text, so it's very engaging to see what you're actually learning about. Art-based strategies, I won't go over too much in this, but it's mainly plays and theater to really teach like the actors like what she went through and also the audience or really what Anne went through. So, and then personal narrative and journaling. Anne's diary can inspire students to reflect on their own emotions through journaling. Journaling allows students to really process their emotions and develop empathy through self-reflection. And if you don't believe this, I think most athletic programs, but I know Marist Athletics, our first athletic meeting, they gave us a journal to journal, our progress through academics and athletics. So there is a reason. The Diary of a Young Girl is a tool for emotional growth. Anne's reflections encourage students to explore their own emotions and resilience. Her struggles inspire students to connect historical events with personal challenges, fostering emotional growth and critical thinking, which is very important. The universal appeal of Anne Frank. Well, this is not just for Jewish people. It's worldwide. It's for everybody. So it's a universal appeal. So anybody can really learn from her and become inspired by her. So lessons from Anne Frank. How she deals with discrimination and prejudice, resilience and hope. We'll go over that later. Self-reflection and growth, and like themes. These themes can definitely connect to modern challenges like bullying and social justice, especially in high school. There's not going to be bullying in the classroom, but there will be bullying in the hallways or at lunch or at recess. So it can definitely help with that. I do have a video.
Hiding for 761 days. But suddenly, we were discovered. Policemen were standing in our hiding place. One of them was wearing a German uniform. But how? What were they going to do to us? Here's what happened when we had to leave the annex. When we were still safely in hiding, this attic was where Peter used to go to watch the warplanes through the window. Now, it's a room with a story. A terrible story. After a few days in prison, we were put on a train. I was happy to finally see the world again, the green fields, the blue sky. But then we arrived at our destination, Camp Westerbork. It was a transit camp, an intermediate stop, and because we'd been in hiding, we were treated extra harshly. We had to do hard work all day. It was dirty, but I still had hope. Now we were here, Mum and I didn't argue anymore either. For the first time in my life, I really loved her. Unfortunately, this wasn't the last stop. Another train was due to go to the east. We suspected that terrible things were happening there. We so hoped we wouldn't have to leave Westerbork, that the Netherlands would soon be free. My heart pounded in my throat when we heard our names. We had to go. For 3 days we were crammed together in a freight wagon, with little food and water, and only a bucket for a toilet. It felt like we were animals. And when we were finally allowed off the train, we'd arrived in.
So this video is obviously beautified. Didn't really look like this at all, but you can really see how she has such a positive attitude, especially to what she's going through. So it's a very powerful lesson. So how we can apply this in the classrooms? Well, journaling prompts inspired by Anne's reflections. So let's say class, journal and pretend that you were in an attic for over 2 years. That's an example. Group discussion with digital learning tools, and also showing images of the Holocaust to really show what Anne went through. That's a very important one. I have a picture right here of the death trains that would transport Jews to different locations, but just to show what what she went through and what the Jews went through. It's very, very important thing. So Anne's struggles and her struggles and how she builds empathy. Well, Anne faced unimaginable challenges during her time in hiding, which provides very powerful lessons. So she was obviously isolated and in fear all the time. She was living in a attic for over 2 years. Loss of freedom. She was completely cut off from the outside world, unable to enjoy normal adolescence. She did not have that experience of being a young girl. Family tensions. She was such close confinement with the family that she was her family and the family that was hiding her. So scared of like getting caught and the punishments that would happen. And then resilience. Despite all these hardships, Anne really held on to hope and continued to dream for a better future. Her attitude is just really something we can take note of. These are some of the conditions that Jews went into hiding with. It's into the ground or in a basement. So this is my favorite slide and the most important. Her faith in humanity, and she always believed in the goodness of people, even with great adversity. Her famous quote, "In spite of everything, I still believe that people are really good at heart," challenged us to hold on to hope and compassion. This is straight out of her book. She said this. And if you see what a certain group of people do to your family and friends, and you still have hope for people and think they're still good, this is such a valuable lesson for everybody to really just show resilience and hope through humanity. Expected outcomes, well, I hope that it will build empathy, enhance emotional awareness, understand historical context because it's a very important historical event, develop resilience, and then connect the past and the present. My conclusion, well, Anne Frank's diary is a timeless tool for teaching teaching empathy and resilience. Her reflection connects history and students' lives, and her story really bridges the past and present, inspiring future generations to learn from history and carry forwards towards her message and resilience and humanity. And I also just feel like the world we live in is full of criticism and judgment, so it will definitely help to combat this. Thank you for listening.